let's talk about tokens. So Ethereum allows you to create your own cryptocurrency without creating a new blockchain. Let me explain why that's significant. So Ethereum has a native cryptocurrency called Ether, which, if you have a wallet like MetaMask and you are a user of the network and you want to create transactions and stuff like that, you need some Ether, some Ethereum cryptocurrency in order to, use the network. And basically, it's a cryptocurrency that's created by mining. And in order to create a new cryptocurrency like this, you would need to create a new blockchain that works somewhat like Ethereum does in order to create a mineable cryptocurrency that's native to the network. There's a lot of overhead involved in that. You would have to basically create a protocol for your blockchain, and you would have to get a whole bunch of nodes to run the network. You'd have to convince people to, use your nodes, or you'd have to, set up a bunch of nodes yourself to create your own blockchain. And there's so much work involved in doing that. Well, you can create your own cryptocurrency on Ethereum with smart contracts without having to create your own blockchain. And that's a huge deal. So this type of cryptocurrency is called a token. And you can see a whole list of tokens here on Etherscan. If you just go to etherscan.io/tokens, you can see any of this, the top ERC20 tokens. That's the page I'm on here. You can see a whole list of popular tokens like BNB. This is Binance's token. This is MakerDAO, which is a stable coin, which is pegged to a single currency so that the price doesn't change. And there's lots of other tokens. OMG is one that I've showed off a lot in my other videos inside this boot camp and on my YouTube channel. Basic attention token, and on it goes. You can see that a lot of companies have decided to use Ethereum-based tokens for their cryptocurrencies, for their ICOs, for whatever they need it for. So how do these tokens work? Well, these tokens are powered by smart contracts, which, if you remember from my other videos, are basically just programs that run on the blockchain. They're just pieces of code that are deployed to the blockchain that govern the behavior of the currency itself. And I'll show you more how that works in a second. So if you notice, if you hit this drop down, you see ERC20 top tokens. So what does this term ERC20 mean? Well, ERC20 is just a standard that specifies how tokens should work on Ethereum. So why do we need a standard? Well, we need a standard so that, everyone knows how the tokens work. So if you wanted to store a token in your wallet, like MetaMask, for example, we would all want to agree upon how the token should work, like how the balance is tracked, who owns the token, how many tokens they own, how to send the token, and stuff like that. Or if you wanted to, put the token on a cryptocurrency exchange, you would want there to be a standard so that the exchange knows how all the tokens work. How what the name is, how they can be transferred, how to read the balances, how to change the balances. So the Ethereum community came up with this standard called ERC20 that specifies how the tokens work. And you can read about it somewhat here on this Ethereum wiki. So here it basically specifies an interface. And we can see, this is the smart contract for an ERC20 token. And it basically implements some standard functions that all ERC20 tokens must have. So a total supply function, it specifies what it needs to return. It needs to return an unsigned integer that's going to be the total number of tokens that exist. A balance of function to read the balance of someone. Basically, if you call this function and pass in an address, it'll tell you how many tokens they have, and it'll return a balance. That'll be an unsigned integer. An allowance. We'll get into that more when we actually look at these tokens in depth, but basically this is giving an allowance to someone else to spend tokens on their behalf, like on a cryptocurrency exchange. Transfer. This lets you send Ethereum tokens. Approve. This allows other people to spend tokens for you. This is like the allowance on the cryptocurrency exchange. And transfer from is like transfer, but it lets someone else actually do the spending. So like this was what you would use when you're issuing a trade on a cryptocurrency exchange. And also we see some events that are required. So we'll talk about events when we build the capstone project, but basically Solidity allows you to use events, which external consumers can subscribe to. So like basically whenever tokens move or they're sent with, transfer or transfer from, this transfer event gets emitted, and people can listen for this and know that a token was transferred. And the same thing for approval. Anytime we approve someone to spend tokens for us, this approval event is triggered. So any token that claims to be an ERC20 token needs to adhere to this interface. And like I said, that just allows it to, be compatible with wallets and exchanges and, anything that uses tokens. So we can see a few other attributes here. Every ERC20 token must contain a name. So like my token name or token name here, symbol, this is the 3-letter, 5-letter, however many, symbol, and the decimals. So 18 is the most common number, and that's because Ethereum is divisible to 18 decimal places, or Ether, I should say, is divisible to 18 decimal places. And I've built a lot of tokens, and I almost always use 18 decimal places because it makes life a lot easier. You can use the utilities in Web3 to convert, tokens to their smallest values, just like you do Ether. It just makes life a lot easier by using 18 decimal places to be consistent with how Ether works. So we can see, a sketched out version of an ERC20 token here, and some more explanation kind of on how they work. So what I'll do now is point you to the Ethereum Improvement Proposals repository, where you can see the official EIP. So an Ethereum improvement proposal is basically just where people, submit standards that they want to adopt on Ethereum, and the community sort of vets these and votes on these and things like that. So EIP 20 is where ERC 20 comes from. So, it talks about the standard token interface that they would use on Ethereum. And you can see their motivation. A standard interface allows tokens to be reused for other applications, from wallets to decentralized exchanges. And inside of this, document, we can see all the same things I just called out from the other page, which is like the name, the symbol, the decimals, total supply, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to use this whenever we build the capstone project to refer back to. So when we're building, our code, sometimes it can be a little abstract, just building code. So I'll use this document to refer back to whenever we're doing that. So now that you've seen the code, we can go back to Etherscan and, just look at one of these tokens. Like, let's take the OMG token. We'll go to the page here. And, a lot of these tokens, because they want to be trusted by the community, will actually submit their source code to Etherscan so that other people can look at them. So we can click the contract address here and go to the code tab, I believe. All right. And inside of here, we can actually look at the source code. So here it is. Looks like this was written with a good amount of libraries, probably like Open Zeppelin libraries or something like that. But yeah, we can see that this contract has a lot of inheritance going on. So, the functions are in different places, but we see this first contract, ERC20 basic, already has a total supply, a balance of, a transfer function, and a transfer event. We can look at this a little more. Right. So a transfer function, it actually implements the behavior inside of here. ERC20 basic, the standard token. Let's see here, a transfer from. So this is like a function that's called in a cryptocurrency exchange. We'll actually do this in our when we build our exchange contract in the capstone project. Approve. This allows the token to be spent on cryptocurrency exchanges. This is the allowance. This reads the approved amount. So let's see here. It's a mintable token. So yeah, all the way on down to the bottom. You can scan this all day and look at that more in depth. But, we can see finally here it has a name, it has a symbol, and decimals. And because these are declared public and Solidity, they get the function names for free. So like, this is a state variable, but we call this state variable public, so Solidity exposes a name function to call in the smart contract. Same for symbol and same for decimals. So yeah, you can read through this code and see that it's fully ERC20 compliant, so it can be stored in your wallet like MetaMask, and also bought and sold in a cryptocurrency exchange. We can see plenty of ERC20 transactions in production. And so if you go look at that, like you look at OMG, look at the transaction, you can actually see the token was transferred. And, if you look at if you click this tab down, I think it'll actually show you the function call. So yeah, if you click that down, you can see, here's the function, transfer function. This was called on the ERC20 smart contract. And also if you go to the event logs, you can see that a transfer event was triggered. So this token's fully ERC20 compliant. So if you go back to the tokens page and click the exchange tab, you can see all the exchanges on Etherscan that this token's listed on, and it's a ton of exchanges. So that's the big value of having an ERC20 token, is it's pretty easy to get your token listed on exchanges. If you were to create your own blockchain and create your own cryptocurrency, well, you'd have to get an exchange to support your new blockchain protocol for transferring tokens. And it's a lot easier if they already support Ethereum tokens just to put your token on their exchange. All right, so that's an overview of ERC20 tokens, Ethereum-based tokens, and how they work. We're going to do a deep dive on ERC20 tokens when we actually build one from scratch in the Capstone project. So stick around and we'll build that when we get there.